So I'm Michael Caron with Utah State University Extension and Thanksgiving Point. And we're here at Thanksgiving Point in the new Water-Wise demonstration garden, which was provided as part of a grant from the Institute of Museum and Library Services. And this has been a 2-year project for us through the planning and development. But what we want to do is showcase to people that it can be straightforward and fairly simple to put in a Water-Wise garden. So the area where the garden is now was basically an unused part of the larger gardens here at Thanksgiving Point, an unused corner that was pretty much just all grass and a lot of pine trees. And so nobody ever came into this area, and so we decided this would be a perfect spot to landscape an area that showcased low water use landscaping concepts and plans. So it was mostly grass and trees. So we took out all of the grass and thinned out the trees a little bit. We removed some of the non-water-wise trees like aspen and lilacs. And then we decided to put in a whole bunch of plants then that are maybe only need to be watered, let's say, once a month. So one of the biggest things that we've seen since we put in this garden was that it really attracted pollinators in a large way. We've seen a lot of hummingbirds, we've seen a lot of bees, a lot of native bees, a lot of honeybees, and it's just been a real active area with lots of pollinators. And so that's actually something that's been really exciting for us, is to create a space with these low water use plants that are also really attractive to those natural pollinators, and a part of the industry and part of the economy that we want to try and preserve those pollinators. In the Water-Wise demonstration garden, we're using plants that aren't just native to Utah, but they're native to similar climates to Utah in other parts of the world. So for example, the Intermountain West, California, Nevada, Oregon, Wyoming, but also parts of Central and South America, as well as Southern Africa and parts of the Middle East through Afghanistan and Iraq and Iran. And these are plants that grow in areas that have long dry summers and typically cold, fairly dry winters. But these are plants that have been vetted, they have been researched and tried, they're not invasive, and so they're not going to cause problems with getting out of hand, especially in the dry climate that we have.
So we have plants from all over, but we do love the Utah penstemons. Utah has more penstemons than any other place in the world. So we have planted lots of those and hope to plant a lot more as they become available. We've tried to buy things that the average homeowner could buy from their local nursery or catalog order.
Most of the plants that we planted in the garden here actually came locally from a local grower, and who also provides most of this plant material to local retail outlets like independent garden centers and even some of the larger chain stores. And so the vast majority of the plant materials that we have shown in this garden are available locally and inexpensively. One of the obstacles that people often encounter when wanting to put in water-wise landscaping is that they feel like they need to put in drip irrigation. And drip irrigation is great. It also can be expensive to install and require some maintenance, but it's also possible to put in a low water use landscape and use the existing sprinklers that you have. The most important thing is to adjust your time clocks and your schedule to fit the needs of the plants and then deliver the water in a way that works for you. Another obstacle that is often encountered when wanting to put in water-wise gardens and water-wise landscaping is working with the soil. And a lot of people are under the misconception that they bring in new soil or heavily amend the soil that they have, and in a lot of cases this isn't true, and bringing in topsoil can actually create more problems than the existing soil that you already have. And so it's just learning to work with what you have, and once you learn how to do that, you can be successful without going to the expense and hassle of changing the soil.
The little area where we have the tea house was one of my favorite spots in the garden. I used to come there alone, and now we've incorporated it, and it's a lovely little sort of enclosed area, which we want to enclose even more with the trees we have planted.
One of the fun things we decided to do with signage here in the Water-Wise demonstration garden is we've gone to using some of these tree cookies, what are called tree cookies. And the tree cookies are just where we put fun facts about low water use landscaping, pollinators, and other nature facts related to the plants that are here in the Waterwise garden. Thing for kids to want to come through and find. We've actually had field trips and groups come through already, just looking for the tree cookies and seeing what they say, making a game out of it. And they've been our most popular response so far. People are actually seeking out the signs instead of just walking by them.
People come here to see green lawns, and they come here to see bright, lots of color, but I think if this has color, people will be attracted to it, and I think it will have color with big drifts of desert plants that are beautiful. People who say, I just can't afford to do it because I have to change everything out again, and you don't. You can tear up the grass and just do it, which is essentially what we did.